The Australian government has recently announced plans to overhaul the existing Aged Care Act. The proposed changes come after mounting pressure and criticism over the current state of aged care services in Australia, which have been marred by reports of neglect, abuse and systemic failures. The new Aged Care Act aims to address long-standing issues in the industry, with a focus of improving quality care, increasing transparency and accountability, and ensuring dignity and respect for older Australians. One of the key aspects of the proposed legislation is a shift towards a person-centred approach to aged care, which prioritises the individual needs and preferences of older Australians. Under the new Act, aged care providers will be required to tailor their services to meet the specific requirements of each resident. Additionally, the government has pledged to put in place stricter regulations to ensure compliance with quality standards and safeguard the rights of older Australians. This includes the establishment of an independent aged care commission, which will oversee the sector and hold providers accountable for any breaches of the new Act. While the proposed reforms have been welcomed by many, they have also faced criticism from various quarters. Some have argued that the government's plans do not go far enough in addressing the root causes of the issues within the aged care system. One of the major points of contention is the lack of funding commitments to support the implementation of the new Act. Many advocates and industry experts argue that without adequate funding, aged care providers will struggle to meet the higher standards set out in the legislation, potentially exacerbating existing problems. Another criticism is a perceived failure to address workforce issues within the aged care sector. With chronic staffing shortages and high turnover rates, there are concerns that even the best intentioned reforms will falter without a sufficient and skilled workforce to implement them. In response to these criticisms, the government has pledged to consult extensively with stakeholders and take into account feedback from the wider community before finalising the new Aged Care Act. However, doubts remain about whether the planned reforms will be enough to truly transform the aged care system. Only time will tell if these plans will succeed in delivering the much-needed improvements to Australia's aged care system, or if further action is needed to truly effect meaningful change.